Welcome to Liberation Lens, where stories unfold beyond the headlines and perspective truly matters. History isn't finished, it's unfolding. This is Liberation Lens. Perspective matters.
Who owns the bomb? We are talking about 9 countries. Over 12,500 nuclear warheads. Enough to destroy the world many times over. But the real question isn't just, who holds the bomb? It is who gets to decide who can. In this episode, we unpack the global nuclear order, its origins, its contradictions, and the power it protects. Here are some facts about official nuclear weapons states, as recognized by the Non-Proliferation Treaty. In 1968, the world's most powerful nations signed the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT. It was a landmark agreement meant to halt the spread of nuclear arms. But it came with a catch. Only 5 countries were officially allowed to possess nuclear weapons. Why? Because they had already tested them before January 1, 1967. The first is the United States. Its first test was the Trinity test in 1945. And it was the only country to have used nuclear weapons in war. That was in Japan's Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Russia, then the Soviet Union, had its first test in 1949. It entered the arms race early and built the world's largest arsenal. The United Kingdom's first test was in 1952. It developed its bomb independently after being excluded from the US Manhattan Project. Then came France with its first test in 1960. France pursued nuclear independence to assert global power post-World War II. China queued up with its first test in 1964. It entered the club amid Cold War tensions and regional rivalries. These 5 are known as nuclear weapon states, NWS, under the NPT. In theory, they pledged to eventually disarm. In practice, that promise remains largely unfulfilled. Besides the 5 recognized nuclear powers are de facto nuclear powers. Those not officially recognized by law. They acquired nuclear weapons beyond the NPT's framework. These nations are 4 in number. They have developed nuclear weapons beyond the framework of the NPT. These weapons were developed, each for reasons rooted in regional insecurity, strategic autonomy, or historical trauma. India's first test was in 1974, Smiling Buddha. It refused to sign the NPT, calling it discriminatory. Pakistan's first test was in 1998. Its arsenal was built in direct response to India's program. Israel has never ever confirmed, but it's widely believed to possess 90 to 300 warheads. It maintains a policy of nuclear ambiguity. Nuclear ambiguity, also known as nuclear opacity or strategic ambiguity, is a policy where a country deliberately avoids confirming or denying whether it possesses nuclear weapons or under what conditions it might use them. The goal is principally to keep adversaries uncertain and deter aggression without making explicit threats. North Korea signed the NPT, then withdrew in 2003. It tested its first bomb in 2006, citing US hostility and regime survival. Remember that these states are not recognized under the NPT but have reshaped the global nuclear landscape, often with tacit acceptance or strategic tolerance from major powers. But what does it take to build a bomb? Owning a nuclear weapon isn't just about intent. It's about infrastructure, expertise, and political will. This comes with access to fissile materials. Fissile materials are at the heart of nuclear energy and weapons policy. These are substances capable of sustaining a nuclear fission chain reaction when struck by low-energy, thermal, neutrons. Thus, they are essential for both nuclear reactors and nuclear weapons. The core ingredient of fissile material is uranium-235 or plutonium-239. That's why they're tightly regulated under international treaties like the proposed Fissile Material Cut-off Treaty, FMCT, which aims to halt the production of fissile material for weapons use. Besides, fissile materials require advanced enrichment or reprocessing facilities, technologies that are closely monitored by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. IAEA was established in 1957 to promote the peaceful use of nuclear energy and to prevent its use for military purposes, including nuclear weapons. There is also a strong need for scientific and technical expertise, nuclear physics, metallurgy, weapons design capacities to be able to acquire and develop nuclear weapons. The U.S. Manhattan Project cost over $23 billion, adjusted for inflation, and employed over 130,000 people. The Manhattan Project was the United States' top-secret research and development program during World War II that produced the world's first nuclear weapons. It ran from 1942 to 1946 and involved a massive collaboration between the US, the United Kingdom, and Canada. Additionally, delivery systems are needed for a nuclear weapon such as a bomb. These systems would include intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, strategic bombers. A credible arsenal requires second strike capability, the ability to retaliate even after being hit. Then, there is the political will. States must believe that nuclear weapons offer security, deterrence, or diplomatic leverage. It's not just science, it's strategy. But why do states want nuclear weapons? The motivations are complex, but four key drivers stand out. The first is deterrence, the logic of mutual assured destruction, MAD, if you strike me, I'll strike back harder. North Korea's arsenal is a textbook case, claimed by the West as designed to prevent regime change. The second reason for possessing nuclear weapon would be for national prestige. Nuclear weapons are seen as a symbol of technological prowess and sovereignty. For India and China, it is asserted by some, the bomb was a ticket to global recognition. The third reason for a nuclear weapon would be for security and survival. In volatile regions, nuclear weapons are viewed as insurance policies. Pakistan's arsenal is aimed squarely at India, some say. Israel's is a hedge against existential threats, it has insisted for over 3 decades. The fourth reason for possessing nuclear weapon would be for diplomatic leverage. Nuclear states are thought to often wield disproportionate influence in global affairs. For example, the US and Russia use their arsenals not just for defense, but for negotiation and coercion. Now, let's look at the hypocrisy and power imbalance surrounding nuclear weapons possession. The NPT was meant to prevent proliferation. But critics argue it has entrenched a two-tier system, one that privileges power and punishes aspiration. Israel, a non-signatory with a secret arsenal, faces no sanctions. Iran, a signatory with no bomb, faces inspections, sabotage, and economic warfare. The US and Russia continue to modernize their arsenals, spending billions, while urging others to disarm. This double standard has led scholars like Zia Mayan to call the system nuclear apartheid, a regime where the rules are written by the powerful, for the powerful. And to this, Mohammad Baradei, former IAEA Director General, qualified the nuclear arrangement in the following words: the current nuclear order institutionalizes strategic inequality, and legitimizes violent enforcement by the powerful. And to end this episode, we would assert the following: in a world where 9 nations hold the keys to annihilation, The question isn't just who owns nuclear weapons, but who gets to decide who can. The answers reveal not just a security doctrine, but a global hierarchy, one forged in war, sustained by fear, and defended by silence.
You have just seen the world through a different lens. Subscribe, comment, share, and help amplify voices that deserve to be heard. Until next time, keep looking deeper. Liberation lens. Perspective matters.